Great morning. That even scared the pups. Happy Monday. Fired up for a new week, you guys. It's Monday morning. That means triple M time. That means it's time to get some nuggets to take our mindset to the next level. Because why? It's a new week. It's a new opportunity. I was listening to some PV during my morning cardio, and Bishop T.D. Jakes said, when God gives you an opportunity for freedom, you don't walk, you run. Because like opportunities do, they come in and they go. And if you're casual about them, your freedom means everything. You'll be casual about everything in your life, and you'll end up without freedom. So we're here today, whether you're on live or watching the recording, to create elevation in your mindset, to have freedom in your life. I don't know if it's freedom in your finances, freedom in your relationships, freedom in your mentality and clarity of mind, freedom with your family. I don't know what it is for you, but I have a feeling you're here for a reason. I don't think you would have been up early, spending time, or watching this recording if you didn't want more in your life. So let's get to it. Today we're going to be listening to Tony Robbins. He's going to be talking about the mindset of an unshakable person. How do you become unshakable where nothing will set you back? Because if you don't think things are going to come and try to set you back, I'm going to recommend that's not a great expectation. Any great big thing you want to achieve in your life, there's going to come things that try to stop you. You want a great family, there's going to be some issues that come. You want a big house, there's going to be some issues that come. You want financial freedom, there's going to be some issues that come. But how do you create an unshakable mindset to where things come and they don't stop you? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So get your notebook ready. Take some notes. We're going to get some takeaways at the end. If you're at work, you can't share, no problem. Put it in the chat bar. We want to hear from everybody that we can because everybody's perspective matters. So without further ado, let's get to Tony Robbins' mindset of an unshakable person.
Tony, the idea of being unshakable is clearly more than money. But in this context, what does it truly mean to be unshakable?
It's a state of mind. It relates to money because most people, when they're trying to figure out how to create financial freedom, create more stress for themselves, worrying about what's going on. And when you're truly unshakable, you have the mindset where you understand how the market works. You understand that real estate can go up or down, stocks can go up or down, but your family can still do well. Unshakable is a bear market can come, a correction can come, and there's no fear in you. Or if there is a little fear, we're all human, you don't stay there. You find a way to break through. You find your center. And when you have that center, you do what's right to be able to take care of yourself and your family. And I was interviewing about a year and a half ago, the former Fed chair, Alan Greenspan, who for 19 years, the most powerful man in finance in the world under 4 different presidents, spent 5 hours with him, about 3 privately and 2 on stage in front of a group. And one of my final questions to him, and we talked about all this crazy change and all this volatility and how do people get things together, I said, look, if you were back head of the Fed today, what would you do? And there was this long pause. He paused, and he leaned at me and he said, Tony, I'd resign. That did not build much confidence in me or anybody else who'd be watching. And yet, in the midst of all that, as you well know, there's a few unicorns in the financial market, very few. These people that have found a way to do well over all the decades, in good times and in bad. And they know what it takes to be unshakable. And it isn't just guts or confidence. It's understanding certain facts that when you know them, they free you. The metaphor I give people is that, if you go, most of us have heard the old Sufi metaphor of, the man is walking along in the middle of the night and he sees a snake and freaks out, runs away, and he comes in the morning, and what does he see? It was a rope. And so once you know it's a rope, you can be there in the middle of the night, you're not scared again. This book, Unshakeable, it's really a financial freedom playbook for anybody. It's the real essentials about how to go from where you are to where you really want to be, but how to do it with peace of mind, how to do it even when things are volatile and enjoy yourself. I wanted to write a book that would protect people because we all know a crash is coming. And if you're not in the market, you're still going to experience it if you're not prepared for it because it affects the economy as a whole. And every 5 years we have, on average, we have a bear market or a crash. And it lasts a year and it drops 33%. But every single one of those, you don't lose any money unless you sell. And it's really important for Americans to understand this because America's unique. In 2.5 centuries, every crash is followed immediately by an explosion up in a bull market. So you all remember 2008. Remember the market, dropped almost 50% from peak to trough, if you're aware of it. But from March 9th, a day or two from now, is the celebration of it, it went up in the next 12 months, 69%, and it's been going up ever since for 250%. So you get really wealthy when those numbers change. So what I want to do is free people from the fear, not by enthusiasm or positive thinking, but by facts. The facts are there's a correction every year. You shouldn't be surprised when the market corrects. Last January is the worst opening in the history of the stock market, and we had a record-breaking year. People lost $2.2 trillion if they sold, but if they stayed, they went nowhere. So when you know that every single year there's going to be a correction. Now, a correction, by the way, means it drops 10 up to 20% from the peak. A bear market or crash is 20% or more. But every year since 1900, for 116 years, we've had a correction. It's like winter. You're not surprised when winter comes. Some are long, some are short. Well, you know what's coming.
You've even got a chapter in the book called Winter is Coming.
Yes. It's my HBO special. But the reason I say that is if you know it's coming, we want to prepare so you're protected. But also, for everyone listening, everyone who's joining us online, think about this. If you're a millennial, for example, and you've got all this debt from college, it's so imbalanced right now, and you think you're never going to get free, or you're a baby boomer and you never got started, and you think it's too late, believe it or not, the next crash is the greatest opportunity in your life to leapfrog from where you are, where you don't want to be financially, to where you want to be, because everything goes on sale. Listen, the ladies in this room, if your favorite outfits or shoes are on sale for 50% off, you're pretty damn excited, right? Well, guys, if I said to you, what's your favorite car? And you said a Ferrari, and I said you get it for 50% off, guys would be out of their mind. But when the stock market drops 50%, it's on sale, most people freak out. Not Warren Buffett, not people like that. I interviewed a guy named Howard Marks. He was investing $1 billion a week in 2008 and 9 when the market was through the floor. Now he's worth $100 billion because he bought everything for pennies. You got to think of it this way. When things are going really great, what do people want for the price of their home or the price of their stock or their business? It's real value or more? Well, when it's going up like crazy, everybody wants more than it's worth. When it starts crashing, what will people take for their car, for their business, for their stocks? What will they take? Anything they can get. And so those opportunities are the greatest ones in your life. And here's what you got to know. If you're stressed by worrying about the market or the economy, there's a correction every year. You're going to be stressed forever. If you're 35 and you're going to live to 85, you got 50 more corrections to go through. And, a bear market comes every 5 years. So you're going to have 10 more bear markets in your life. Time to stop being stressed. Time to become unshakable, which simply means you have a plan. You know what's going on. You're not fearful because you know how this works long term, and you're not going to be taken advantage of. You're going to take advantage of the environment. The goal, if you own a business, and I would assume a lot of your viewers are business owners or are getting started in business, remember how good you are in business. Think about this. The one universal rule that idiots in finance know is diversification. It's the only free lunch. You've got to diversify. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how good the basket is, one day that real estate market, that stock market, that bond market, that collectibles market, whatever you invest in, right now you showed me statistically, it'll drop 50 to 70% on a day. Now, if you're later in life when that happens, it's over for you. Right? So you have to diversify, and yet most people, they know real estate, so they do it, or they know stocks, so they do it, or they grew up with their parents flipping things, and it's the wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. So you've got to diversify in order for you to be able to truly succeed, and that's why when you own a business, if you put all your money in your business, which is what most of us do naturally, you see a lot of risk. You put all your eggs in one basket, and there's things that can happen. I mean, let's say you spent 20 years and you figured out how to put together the ultimate map, and you remember Garmin came out with this thing called a TomTom. I don't know if you remember, you used to put on your, are you old enough to remember that? You put on your phone? Or you used to put on your dash. Cost $100. It was a breakthrough.
They were making like 100 million or something.
They were. 6 months later, what happened?
The iPhone came out with Google Maps.
These little bastards, excuse my French, came out with it, put Google Maps, put their own map on here, and it costs how much? $0. What's that going to do to your business when someone takes your product or service and gives it away for free? So I always tell people, competition happens, technology happens. What you must do is have a second business with no moving parts, no people, no time. Maybe it takes you 3 days a year for 2 or 3 hours after you've read the book. You put it in place, you measure it 2 or 3 times a year. That's it. Go on with your life. Now if there's a trouble in your business, you're financially set. In my life, have 31 companies now. We have, what do we have? 1,200 employees, 7 different industries. We do $5 billion in sales. I mean, that used to be, me and my seminar business. That's grown geometrically. But with all those moving parts, the only way I've been able to succeed is because I've taken every one of those businesses that diversified my assets so that when things were in trouble, I still had enough economics to take care of myself and keep the business going. So everybody needs to create a money machine. that works while you sleep, that doesn't have moving parts, and that's what this is really about.
Can you talk about what it means to discuss the market as a game and how that might be a dangerous concept?
Sure. Well, first of all, the reason I called the other book Money Master the Game is every wealthy person I interviewed called it a game. Every single one. And other people were saying, that's irresponsible. That's horrible to call it a game. This is the dumbest thing. But see, that mindset is what's keeping you from investing in the first place. So you could be in a game. It could be a difficult game. Challenging games are usually the ones that we like the most. But this is a game that can reward your family disproportionately to any other game that's out there. Now, some people play games aggressively. Some play things more in a secure way. Your style is more secure. And what I teach in this book is we want to have a style that makes you feel good. Because you can make a bunch of money, but you're stressed all the time. It's not worth it. There's a way to make money your slave instead of you being the slave to money. But let me explain. It's not put all your money in the market. It's really two things. It's first, you've got to decide the most important financial decision of your life, and that is to become an owner and not just a consumer. If you have I see a bunch of iPhones recording this right now. Just
watch your foot, because there's a glass of water there. I don't want to
mention that. If you're I'm an active human, so you can be around with me. But if you've got an iPhone and you don't own Apple, or better yet, you don't own the index of the S&P 500, the best 500 companies, you're making a giant mistake, because you'll never earn your way to financial fortune. Even people that make just loads of money, the actors, the actresses, the athletes, where are they 10 and 15 years later? I mean, 50 Cent made $100 million on vitamin water. He got a tip, and he got like a $200 or $300 million net worth, and he's bankrupt. He bought Mike Tyson's house, 25,000 square feet, and Mike Tyson made $500 million and went bankrupt. Right now, I don't know if you saw Johnny Depp. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but the papers are saying he may go bankrupt. He made $750 million as a movie star, but he spent $30,000 a month on wine. He must be feeling good. And secondly, he took Hunter Thompson, the reporter. He burned his body and paid $3 million to blow his ashes into the sky in a cannon. So no matter how much money you make, you can screw it up, right? But if you will just decide there's a percentage of my income that no matter what, I'm going to have it automated. I'm not going to see it. It's going to go straight to an investment account. And I don't know if it's 10 or 15 or 20. Those numbers sound gigantic to most people. Even if you start with 5 and build, that income does not go to anybody else. And then you put that into compounding. So listen to this. There's a young man, true story, Theodore Johnson, 1950s, worked for UPS, never made more than $14,000 in annual income in his entire life, retired with $70 million, and he didn't inherit a dime. He gave away $35 million while he's alive. Now, how is that possible? Because of compound interest. When I interview all these investors and say, what's the biggest mistake Americans make? They all said, they don't tap into compound interest. They know intellectually a little bit what it means, but they don't do it. They don't do it consistently. So what do you do? It
basically just means that the profits you make go back into the investment.
You keep reinvesting and it keeps growing, but it grows geometrically, right? And so a friend of his came to this man who worked for UPS and said, I'm going to make you rich. We're going to put a 20% tax on you. He said, I can't give up 20%. I can't pay my bills if I do that. He said, listen, if the government raised your taxes 20%, and you claim, you'd scream, you'd cry, you'd complain, and you'd pay it. And you get adjusted to it. But he said, this is not going to the government. This is going into an account for your future. And that compounding is what made him that much money. In the book, I give you an example of an 18-year-old boy whose father convinces him that he should save $300 a month out of his income. It's not a huge income. That sounds like a lot. But when you automate it, you forget about it. It's perfect. You adjust. Well, he does this from 18 years old to 27 years. So the total amount of money, $300 a month, is about $4,000 a year. That's $28,000 total. He then leaves it in the market and never adds a dime to it from 20 years old on. At 65, because the market over those 30 years grew 10%, his money has compounded so much that he has $1.8 million. You don't need a lot of money to be wealthy. You need time.
So you're saying that even if I have student debt that I'm struggling to pay off, even if I'm making, say, $1,000 a week, that I should still try a percentage, or make it a point to put a percentage not just into a savings account, but into an investment account.
Into an investment account. Where to put that money, then we teach you the ways to do that, and it's got to be diversified.
Yeah.
You never put all your money in the market.
I want it. Okay.
What are the 5 takeaways that somebody can take from this book where they can really put them actually into action?
Well, I'll tell you the 4 things that I interviewed these 50 unbelievable investors had in common. They're all different. I interviewed people that are macro traders. I interviewed people like Warren Buffett, right? Value people. I interviewed people that it's blood in the streets type of people. You buy when the world is going to hell. And they're all different, but they had 4 things in common real fast. Number 1, every single one of them was obsessed with not losing money. Guys like you and I tend to say, how do we make money for our companies, for ourselves as an investor? Their entire focus is not losing money because they know if you lose 50%, it takes 100% get even.
Well, it's about becoming comfortable with risk.
Well, it's more than that. These guys are obsessed with not being comfortable with risk. They don't want to take risk. In fact, the second key that they do is they all are focused on asymmetrical risk reward. Most people think the most successful investors take huge risks to get huge rewards. And in reality, they take the least risk humanly possible to get the largest upside. So their whole focus is, how do I get a 3-to-1 or a 5-to-1? If I risk $1, try to make 5, and I'm wrong, I can be wrong 4 times and break even. So they have a completely different approach. They're all very focused, thirdly, on tax efficiency, because you only have the money you get to keep. And fourthly, it's all diversification. And those 4 things fundamentally are the frame from which you start to design a portfolio.
How did you go from basically not having a hot meal?
Man, lots of nuggets. Man, I know this was a little deeper. This wasn't rah, 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 get out there and pound the pavement. This was a little bit deeper on Tony Robbins' new book, Unshakeable. But I think it was really important to share this one because your finances have a huge part of your life. Why? Because we need money in this world. The clothes you have on, the roof over your head, the food you drink, the Herbalife you take if you're on your nutrition program, all these things take money. Your family wants something. You want to take your family to dinner. Grandma needs something for her health. All these things take money. So becoming financially sound should be one of your top goals. So I'm going to give you a few of my takeaways that really stood out to me. Then we're going to pass it to Roxy. I have a few shares. Number 1, when things are going well, people want more. But when things are going tough, people will take what they can. What does this mean? Say you're working right now. And then we have some coaches on the team that do this part-time. Like for me, for example, I work about 20 hours a week, and I do the wellness coaching on the side. When I started, I had 3 jobs. Now, when I tell people about extra income, I don't tell people that, are drinking a Coca-Cola and they don't love the lifestyle. I usually say, hey, we have an opportunity on the team for coaches, whether they love the products, they're getting great results, or maybe already know they're into health and wellness. Because in my mind, extra income always makes sense. Why? He talks about stability. Every year, there's going to be a recorrection in the market if you have anything in your stocks. But also, he said that about every 5 years to 8 years, there's going to be a correction in the whole economy. It's called a bear market. So to think that if you can remember 2008 when it was really tough to get jobs and all these things, if you think that's not going to happen again, I'm going to suggest that you don't be that naive. So he said people don't get that confused when winter comes every year. There's going to be other financial winters. So what does that mean? You've got to prepare. Like the ant does. All summer they're preparing for winter, but he gave you a tip right here that was so freaking crucial. I just got this. He said, when things are going well, people want more than it's worth, but when things are going tough, they'll take what they can get. Meaning, things are going well in the financial world right now. I'm sure your finances are doing better today than they were in 2008. So when I'm telling people about extra income with the team, I'm like, this could be the opportunity for you to put some money away. So when the next winter comes and houses drop by 50%, maybe you don't have to get a house that's okay. Maybe you get a house that's ridiculously awesome because you timed it well. Because when the winter comes and everybody's like, oh man, I don't have any money because they didn't prepare, and you have $50,000 saved, $25,000 saved, $10,000 saved, you can come up on something that in the summer maybe you couldn't have gotten. He said this is the biggest opportunity because you don't let fear control your actions because you're prepared. This was amazing. Maybe it's not a house. Maybe it's a business you invest into. Maybe it's, some type of fund for your children's education that when the tough time comes financially, maybe there's some special programs they can get into for a lower price. I don't know, but I do know you've just been giving a key golden ticket. That was one of the biggest ones. Next one. You don't need a lot of money to be wealthy. You need time. Don't just save, invest. I'm going to tell you guys, if you're just working hard enough to pay the bills, you're always going to work just hard enough to pay the bills. If you're barely getting by now, you're always going to be barely getting by because A, barely getting by is a mindset. Number two, if you don't discipline your finances, you're always going to spend what you make. Think about it. In the last 3 to 5 years, your income has probably gone up. Has your savings gone up in proportion? If you didn't discipline your spending, you're probably still at the same amount of savings. How is that possible within the last 3 to 5 years? Hundreds of thousands of dollars have probably gone through your bank account. That means your habits automatically, changed as your spending habits and your income did. So what it's going to take is it's going to take A, discipline. B, I'm going to suggest pursuing extra income opportunities like Herbalife. For example, for Roxy is full-time. She worked until we were making $5,000 a month. I'm still part-time. So combined with Herbalife, you get 7 streams of income when you're supervisor and above. And then we have my job. And then also Roxy has done some group programs. So that's about 9 streams of income. With a table with 9 legs, trying to make the 9. There we go, 9. 9 legs be more stable than 1. People think a job is stable. You have 1 stream of income at this job that when times get tough, guess what's the first thing to go? You. I just heard Verizon just laid off a bunch of people. I heard a lot of Sears and Macy's are closing. I walk in Chase Bank and they're using a lot of automated tellers, and I see a lot of people standing around. I'm like, y'all not going to have jobs much longer. We got a guy on the team that works for Chase Corporate. He's like, how'd you know that? I was like, bro, I can tell. He's like, yeah, there was 100,000 less in-person teller transactions from last year. 100,000. I think he said a day or a month. I'm like, people aren't waking up that there's going to be another adjustment. If you don't prepare now and earn extra now and put away and use time now, how many of you guys have a Roth IRA? How many of you guys have money in stocks? How many of you guys have money put away to invest in a down payment on a home? How many of you guys have an education fund for yourself and your family? I don't know, might be a good idea to diversify and use your extra income. I tell people you should do Herbalife for the extra and just save it all. Let's get it. All right, so Roxy, what you got for us? Give us a nugget.
All
from
right.
your boy Tony.
From my boy Tony. Excuse me, I really love the part where you talked about creating a money-making machine while you sleep. Because I remember the days when I used to trade my time for money. And the biggest thing that I wanted to get to was being able to no longer have to do that, because as long as we trade our time for money, then we can never be wealthy the way that we want to. We can never be financially abundant the way that we want to. Why? Because we're continuously working by the hour. And if you're working for 15, 20, 30 bucks an hour, that's the highest that you can potentially go. So what I love about what we do, and just even there's so much opportunity out there, is making your money work for you. Because as long as you work for money, then you'll always be a slave to money. And it should be the other way around. Money should be your slave, because it's just paper. And we really need to understand that, because when we go to work and we trade the time, that's exactly what we're doing. So I really love that. I loved how he talked about getting inside of the game. He's like, most people, when I first launched my book, Money Master the Game, people were like, this is not a game. He's like, but if you know the rules of the game, then you can win in everything. And that goes in anything. And even inside of Herbalife and what we do, if you know the rules, you have all of the opportunity to win. And if you look at it as a game and you play by the rules, you could definitely win. And then the last one was when he talked about the investor who in 2008, 2009, he was investing $1 billion a week. He's like, and that was when most people were not buying and they weren't investing in anything. And now he's worth over $100 billion. So that, like, those were my biggest takeaways.
Success leaves clues, you guys. Ooh-wee, major nuggets. I'm going to tell you guys, if you check out when it's not rah, 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 you know, big fireworks, the details are where everything is. If you check out when they start talking about finances, think about this before we pass it on to the next one. How many people do you know that are not financially stable, abundant, or free? I know a lot of people. I know very, 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 very few people that are financially free. What does it mean? That means it takes effort to get there. That means it's going to take some focus. That doesn't mean it's not possible, but that means that it's not going to just happen for you. You got to put effort into it. You got to pursue it. You got to wake up. So, love it. Let's get another 1 to 2 takeaways. Give me a thumbs up or a smile if you got a big takeaway you want to share. Let's get it. Who's got something for us? Give me a smile or a big thumbs up. Everybody's digesting the nuggets right now. Armani, what you got for us?
What's up, guys? It's Armani. One of my biggest takeaways from today's video was it was pretty amazing, honestly, because it comes around in the right around time. Especially when you're saying when you make more money, you tend to spend more money. And I had just recently got promoted at my job to assistant manager, so I'm starting to make more, and I'm noticing like I need to definitely be on myself for discipline, so I don't spend more and I save more. And the big thing he was talking about was you'll never earn yourself to financial freedom. Like by clocking in, is your time will equal your financial freedom, and making a percentage of your income, of your earnings, an investment, whether it's 5, 10, or 15%. I took that to heart, especially with getting our Herbalife checks. I put about 10% of that into my savings, so I will forever like save money on that opportunity.
Boom. There you go. Yeah, our money. You got to be focused. As more money comes in, it's easier to just say, well, I've always wanted that. I've always wanted that. I've always wanted that. You got to temper yourself. Couple of tips I'll give you guys. You need to get a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is built where you pay the tax, like you put money that's already taxed in it. And then when you take it out, you don't have to pay any taxes. A regular IRA, you can put untaxed money, but you'll pay taxes when you take it out. He recommends a Money Master again, which makes sense to me. Pay the tax on the seed, not the harvest. So take your money. You do not write it off as a tax return. Open up a Roth IRA, and you can contribute a maximum of $5,500 a year. So max it out. So the best one that I've heard of and that we personally use is Vanguard. Vanguard you can set up online. It's one of the top financial institutions in the world. Key is, though, you have to start with $3,000. So maybe save up some and get to it. And what's so dope is that if you're a couple, you can each have one. So $5,500 and $5,500 a year. Start that now. Do not wait till you're 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 to start thinking about, oh, man, what should I do? Another great thing, stocks. We have money in Herbalife stocks. First time we got it, it was like $44. Second time we got it, it was like $55. Now they're like $57 to $58. If you love what we do as a company and believe in the mission and believe in the leadership, invest in what you love. So we invested in the Herbalife stocks. Next thing for us is we're saving up money to put a down payment on a home. Invest in some real estate. So you've got you got Roth IRA, max out your $5,500 contribution a year, and reinvest the dividends. The dividends of what you make back from having that stock could be like, it's a percentage of what it is. Reinvest it all. That was the compound interest he was talking about. Just leave it and just know, hey, every month I'm going to invest this amount. I recommend, this is what I tell people to do. Do it when your Herbalife check comes. That's when we do it. We do it on the 15th because there's an influx of money. Do it right then. Don't try to do it on the 29th when money got tight at the end of the month. Do it right when it comes in so you don't even question it. It's easier to do it then. Just get it out. So any other takeaways, smiles, any other thing you guys want to share? Everybody's like thinking numbers right now. Like, what number am I going to invest? What am I going to get? That's perfect. Minimum 5%. I'll recommend you guys. 10% is better. Start 5 and grow it. 10%. Diversify. Get your finances right, because finances are going to get you freedom. Remember what we talked about? When God gives you the opportunity for freedom, you run. Do not be stuck in things you do not want to do for the next 60 to 80 years. If you do, that's your fault. Nobody else's fault. So let's get it. I'm going to take everybody off mute. Big smiles. Where y'all at?
Thank you.
Happy week. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, like why would you think I'm not?